lives one day at a time. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. They're here to get your day going fine. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. And here's your host, Miss Kim Robinson.
What's up, family? It's me, Jerry Rose Live Worldwide from Positive Power Double XI, and you're listening to Elations Radio with Kimmy Kim.
Shout out D on the track, Paint Music Media. Shout out DJ Lee Productions, and I'm Al Care. But if you a game changer, got my head, my grind don't hide. Win, lose, or drought, I'ma ride till I die. I go hard in that lane. My God is the aim. Put me in, coach, and watch me change the game. Cause I'm a game changer. 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 I'm full court press. I pledge allegiance to the best. Ain't nothing left to give it that reverence that the Father gets. So every day I work the sweat, can get a flesh another rest. They say go hard or go home. I say just do whatever's best. It's evident I'm blessed and I work like it. Fight like a Viking. Fight like a lichen. The difference is I like it, so I shine like I'm lightning. So I'm going head to head with certain depth. Who you liking? Yeah. So it's time for coach to put me in. I'm strapping on my shoulder pads, lacing up my cleats, and then I'm gone with the wind. Like I'm gone in 60 seconds. You can't hold me, you can't check me. Check the memo, check the message running through. Like I'm baddest, I'm trucking whoever's standing in my way. Ain't no way you gon' stop me. You better off to let me in. Cause I go hard, even though they say no way that I could win. Like I'm Brett Ford, I'ma ride this game. My head to the sky, my grind don't hide. Win, lose, or drought, I'ma ride till I die. I go hard in that lane. My God is the aim. Put me in, coach, and watch me change the game. Cause I'm a game changer. 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 Yeah, I told you once before, my God came to change the
choices. We all have them. Different interpretations come from them. But we all have different choices. Choices are something like opportunities, I guess, right? For instance, attitude is a choice. Happiness is a choice. Optimism is a choice. Kindness is a choice. Giving, that's a choice. Respect is a choice. Whatever choice you make, it actually makes you. So what should you do? Choose wisely. Choose wisely. Now think about this. In The Mortal Instruments, which is a book/movie, it says in the end, that was the choice you made. And it doesn't matter how hard it was to make it. It matters that you did. I mean, right now, there's a lot of things going on about choices because an artist by the name of Kanye West made some decisions. Or he made a choice. He made a choice to make a statement about some choices that some individuals made that he felt that they made back in the day. Now, in all actuality, when I start speaking of choices, there are some things that either A, you don't have a choice, you know, or B, you have to choose between two opposing things. For instance, sometimes people have to choose between life and death. And, yeah, you could choose death, but most of the time, for most well-being human beings, they're going to choose to live, you know. So sometimes when you look at situations in which the choice is life and death, choice of living is better, then usually people choose that choice. Particularly if you have faith in God, you know that as long as you're still here, as long as you're portraying faith and having belief and you're working hard and all those types of things, then who knows how the story can end. So I think sometimes we need to sit back and look at choices. Let me give you an example. In the great book Alice in Wonderland, Lewis Carroll, who was the author, he said, it's a section in there that talks, and it said, would you tell me, please, which way I ought to go from here? That depends a good deal on where you want to get to, said the cat. I don't much care where, said Alice. Then it doesn't matter which way you go, said the cat. So long as I get somewhere, Alice added. Oh, sure, you're sure to do that, said the cat, if you only walk long enough. So, the thing, what that statement is saying that, if you really don't care what's going on, if you really don't care how your life turns out, if you really don't care how things are going to be, then maybe you will take some of these decisions, maybe you'll make some of these choices and decisions, maybe you'll make them lightly. Maybe you would choose lightly. Maybe it's easy to choose A over B or B over C or whatever when you don't care where you end up. But if you care, and if this is a matter of life and death, then again, you must choose wisely. I want you all to sit back and reflect, what kind of choices have you made? You know what I mean? Like it's not just easy choices, but some of the hard choices that you've had to pick between, like whether to get married or not, which university to go to, whether to have kids, whether to leave this individual or stay with this individual. The choices we make, I remember, I think if I'm not mistaken, it was in the motorcycle, the art of motorcycle maintenance or something. It says, you start making choices, and sooner or later the choices make you, meaning you choose a certain way a certain amount of time, and eventually that way end up choosing you. I'll give you an example. In the Bible, it talks about when Moses was speaking to God. And God told Moses, and I go back to this scripture a lot because I think it's extremely important. God tells Moses to go to the Pharaoh and tell Pharaoh all certain things. Let the people go, blah, 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 blah. But a lot of different things God tells Moses to tell Pharaoh. And, Moses hesitated, and he made all these different arguments on why he was the right person and why people wouldn't listen to him or whatever. But anyway, after a while, Moses said, okay, I'm going to do it, right? And then God warned him. God said, now listen, when you go and you say this, you tell him that God sent you, tell him all these things, Moses is not going to listen to you. Moses is, not Moses, but the Pharaoh is not going to listen to you. The Pharaoh is going to, do the opposite. He's going to deny it. He's going to say, no, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to do this. He's going to do the opposite of what he's supposed to do. And God said, when that happens, then other things will happen after that. And a lot of people, when they read this verse in this scripture, they wonder, why would God send Moses to ask the Pharaoh to do certain things, knowing what the Pharaoh's response would be? And henceforth, why would God then, knowing that the Pharaoh's response would be the opposite, why would God then, punish the Pharaoh for responding in a way in which God knew he was going to respond? Well, you have to dig deep. So sometimes I think what happens now is that, we read the Bible, we read the Torah, we read, the Quran, or whatever spiritual book that you choose to read, and we're reading it as I guess you would say, a footnote to what we've already been told and what's been given to us. But sometimes we have to read these scriptures in order to learn. There's no frivolous things in the Bible. There's nothing in the Bible, there's nothing in the Torah, there's nothing in the Quran that's just there for no reason. So if it's in there, it's there for a reason. So when you read that scripture, you have to ask yourself, what is this scripture trying to tell me? What is this scripture trying to tell us? What's the point of this scripture? Okay, so why would God send Moses, tell Moses to go ask the Pharaoh for something, knowing that the Pharaoh is going to not do it, and then why would God punish the Pharaoh then? Well, see, you go back and it says, God said the Pharaoh would not do it because I have hardened his heart. Okay, now it makes it even more perplexed to say, well, God actually hardened his heart. God actually made it so that this guy would make these types of decisions and make these types of answers. So what does that mean? Well, what it means is this. When God speaks of hardening the Pharaoh's heart, what he's saying is God has made it in such that when anyone, not just the Pharaoh, when anyone makes a decision, when anyone does something, it makes it that much more easier to do it again, or vice versa. So, for instance, if you are trying to be on a diet and you renege on your diet and you start eating ice cream. Well, now, that first time you've eaten ice cream, now the second time's a little easier, the third time's a little easier, right? Or let's say every time you go somewhere, or let's say every time you drive and someone cuts you off, you have a fit. Well, the first time, maybe you wasn't like this. The first time you have a fit, now it becomes that you start having a fit, it just becomes who you are. In other words, once you make a decision, it makes it easier to make that same decision over and over again, until the point that you keep making that decision, that's just your default decision. That just becomes who you are. You just have now became a person that when someone cuts you off, you have a fit. When you're supposed to be on a diet and you're not supposed to be eating ice cream, you eat ice cream. When you don't have the proper words to say in the conversation, you use a curse word. So your heart has been hardened, but your heart can be softened also. See, you start making good, positive decisions. You're driving down the street. So it's a homeless person asks for money. You give them money. Now it makes it a little bit easier to give money. Now it makes it a little bit easier to give to charity. Now it makes it a little bit easier to volunteer. So in a sense, your heart has been softened or hardened, or however you want to say it. The point is, it makes it easier to do those things again, and to the point where when you continue to do them enough times, that just becomes who you become. And now, if someone was watching from the outside and they see you walking and they see a homeless person ask you for money, they could predict, you know what, they're probably going to give them money. Or they see somebody ask you to volunteer for a good cause, they probably say, you know what, that's the type of person that volunteers for good cause. They're probably going to volunteer for a good cause. You see, the Pharaoh had gotten to a point that he made so many what you would call ill-fated decisions, bad decisions, or wrong decisions, that God knew, okay, when Moses go to him and ask him about something, he was going to choose the wrong one. So we have to be careful what we choose, because sooner or later we keep making those same choices. It becomes who we are, and God, the universe, has hardened our heart. Our God, the universe, has softened our heart. The question we have for ourselves is are we making choices to harden our heart, or are we making choices to soften our heart? Don't think it doesn't matter. That's a clue. Success leaves clues. So when Kanye's talking about choices, I think he was lost. I think in reality, Kanye was doing kind of what we said. If he's talking about people having choices, not understanding that they didn't have really a choice. The choice is live or die, do this or not do this. What kind of they could choose to be dead, but then they don't have no more choices after that. So we have to be careful with the choices we make, and we have to be careful with describing and interpreting the choices others make. In other words, Kanye made a choice. It's my opinion that that's the wrong choice. But you got to realize something. This is someone who just not too long ago was on the flip side of that whole thing about choices. He was the one complaining about not being able to break into the industry. This is not a rant about Kanye. I'm talking about choices. Choosing. You're either choosing to be your higher self or choosing to be your lower self. You can't choose both. There's a statement that said you can make $1 million or you can make 1 million excuses, but you can't make both. You have to choose one. And in our lives, sometimes we're just letting life happen. We're not living life. We're letting life live us. We just going along with things. And we're choosing as if we was Alice in Wonderland. We're saying it doesn't matter which choice we make, but it does matter. So that's a point that Kanye didn't make, that emphasized that it did matter about the choices, and they had to make one choice if they wanted to continue to live. Luckily for us, a lot of our choices are not choices on living and dying. It's choices on smaller stuff that sometimes we make to bigger things. But if we're not careful, those small choices done over and over and over again will become our default choice. And if it's a negative default choice, then guess what? Our heart would have been hardened. So I'm asking you this week to really pay attention to the choices you make, even if it's gossiping, even if it's complaining, even if it's worrying. There's all the choices. You worry enough, you choose to worry, then you're a worrier. And there comes a point when somebody, your kid or somebody come to you or anybody come to you, they say, you know, this person, they're going to worry about it. This week, I want you to choose the positive choice. I want you to think about choices are doing in your life. And I want you to be very proactive and aggressive and assertive on making choices that direct your life in the right direction. So that when all this is said and done, if someone was to say, oh, how is such and such acting this way? They say, we know that person is going to act in a positive, unifying, progressive, assertive, spiritual way, because God has softened her heart. This has been Khadevis Robinson. This is the Khadevis Robinson Challenge. And once again, I'll holler.
Lord, just so wonderful, awesome, just so great, powerful, oh, so beautiful, omnipresent, just marvelous, Alpha, Omega. I just gotta tell you, just magnificent.
Baby boy on the track.
Lord, you're wonderful and magnificent, so powerful, strong, and omnipotent. You know everything, you omniscient. When you start something, you always finish it. From Revelation, starting back to Genesis, you're the record holder, no need for Guinnesses. Heaven is home, your throne's the premises. Alpha and Omega never is diminishing. You turn madmen into gentlemen, you're the prescription, no need for medicine. You're so perfect, great, and intelligent. You are the president of all presidents. So many mans is inside your residence. Messages from your angels is heaven sent. Jesus Christ is who you blessed us with, and the Holy Spirit is what you left us with. You're magnificent.
Lord, you're the best thing that ever happened in my life. You are,
man, you're magnificent.
Lord, you're the best thing that ever happened in my life. You are.
You magnificent, hey, you made the heavens first. The sun, stars, moon, the whole universe. And spoke existence to this whole planet Earth. And formed man straight up out the dirt. You're the Father, gave everything birth. No explanation how much you were worth. You live in water, so we'll never thirst. Blessed spiritually, although my flesh cursed. Angelic beings are always at work. You invented disciples to create church. You know everything, you don't have to research. You a healer, doctor, surgeon, nurse. You move forward, you don't have to reverse. You just act, you don't have to rehearse. God to see me through the pain and hurt and show mercy to what we deserve. You're magnificent.
Lord, you're the best thing that ever happened in my life.
You're magnificent.
You are. Man, you're magnificent. Lord, you're the best thing that ever happened in my life. You are.
You magnificent, made the oceans and trees, lakes, ponds, creeks, every water stream. Articulate, creative, everything. Gave us voices so we can all sing. Lord of lords and King of all kings. You taught Joseph how to interpret dreams. You made silver and gold say ching ching. Made every diamond go bling bling. Salvation, you gave it to us for free. You made the summer, fall, winter, and the spring. I'm so proud to be on the winning team. JESUSGOD. You made the grass, flowers, roses, trees, fruits and vegetables, and planted all seeds. Perfect in all your ways, yes indeed. This is my letter to thank you for blessing me. You're magnificent.
Lord, you're the best thing that ever happened in my life.
You're magnificent.
You are.
Lord, you're magnificent.
Lord, you're the best thing that ever happened in my life. You are.
I just want to tell you, thank you, Lord, for everything you've done for me. Thank you for sending your son, Jesus Christ, to die for my sins. Everything you did for me is not in vain. I know we live in a crooked and corrupted world, but I appreciate you for all things. You're all in all. I just want to tell you, thank you. I love you. You appreciate it. Deep within my heart. I love you. Amen.